Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm back up here at the wood cutting spot. Just me today. I didn't bring the dogs with. It's another beautiful day. Had some storms roll through the last couple of days, so we got quite a bit of rain, which is good. We really needed it. Although, as you can see from my truck, it was a little interesting getting up in here. And for everybody that's subscribed, I really appreciate it. Thank you. And this little bit is for Mountain Life with Dave and Kelsey. You guys kind of requested that I go through my truck a little bit and show you what's what. So I will try to do this. Hopefully it lets you guys see what I got going on here. On the front here, I have a Warren Winch, an old model 6000. This is a early model 8274 Warren Winch that I got last summer, I believe. Yes. I've got somewhere between 150 and 180 feet of 5/16 crane cable on it. And I have it set up with alligator clips so that I can either hook it up to my battery on my pickup, or I can bring an extra battery and run off of that to run the winch. This winch is power in only, so I just have it rigged up on a simple push button to activate it. Really, the only thing missing on this winch is the brake. I'm just missing some parts for that, but other than that, this winch is complete. Which I haven't used it this year, but last year I used it all the time. Let me tell you, having that much cable makes it really nice. Pretty simple mount, just 3-inch channel iron that's bolted directly to my truck frame. Nothing super crazy, but it's more than heavy enough for what I'm doing with it. And then I've got a lumber rack that I'd picked up for it, and had to do slight modifications, put different mounting feet on it to mount it to my bed, and then I added the sideboards and put a floor in the overhead so that I can carry my spare tire up there. I've got toolbox with various hand tools and whatnot, just enough to get me out of a bind. Then the little ammo can is a set of tire chains. Never leave home without those. And then I've got 2-gallon gas can for the truck, just in case. And then my saw gas and oil. And then in the blue bucket I have a strap with a snatch block and a choker cable and some clevises. And then little toolbox for saw tools, axe, shovel, split and maul, pickaroon, some splitting wedges. You know, it's a long ways up in here where I go cutting wood. It's about 75 miles from my house, and the last 18 miles is dirt road. And most of that is really bad dirt road. So I got to come up here prepared. And since I'm cutting on BLM ground, one thing BLM requires for their wood permits is to also have a fire extinguisher, which is a good thing to carry with you anyway. At the very minimum, you want to carry an axe, a shovel, and a bucket. But a fire extinguisher is also a good addition. You can pick those up for a very reasonable price. That one is for a boat. I think it was like $15 or $20. You know, a little bit of cheap insurance. But yeah, I've got a few blocks left over from that last tree. I've got that tree right there. And if I need more, there's obviously quite a bit more in this area. So I'm gonna get my saws out and get everything set up. But like I said, again, thank you everybody. And thank you to Mountain Life with Dave and Kelsey. I really appreciate the shout out you guys gave me a couple of weeks ago. That really helped everybody to come over and check out this channel. I'm still learning how some of this stuff goes and all of that fun stuff, but you know, this is mostly just about cutting them up here and cutting firewood, which I do for fun. I do sell it, but I get money to pay for my gas to come up here and do this, and then a little bit of extra. Nothing crazy. It's more because I enjoy this. So I'll get back to you guys here in a minute. Alright, I'm back. Whoop, I'm tripping on my saw here. One thing I wanted to go over with you guys is a little bit of protective equipment. I'm not by no means a safety Nazi, but there are some things that it's just a prudent thing to have. One of them is a pair of saw shaps. Because, like I said, I'm up here, I'm a long ways from home. The nearest town, I believe, is about 40 or 45 miles away. So, if you cut yourself this far out, you're in a bad way. So you want to have your protective gear. These, I believe, are just a pair of Forester brand shaps that I added the suspenders to them. These suspenders are just a set of heavy-duty tool belt suspenders. And I took and put tarp grommets in the waistband of the shaps to attach them. And that way they stay up a little better. And of course, I've put on a little weight since I bought these shaps, and they're kind of a bugger to put on. Bugger. Be back in a minute. Alright, I'm back. These things are a little more of a chore to put on. Since, yeah. But like I said, suspenders help keep them up a little bit, take a little bit of weight off of the belt. I've got just a little tool pouch here to keep a screwdriver and my saw wrench, a couple of wedges, and a marking crayon. I'm not a professional timber faller by any means. These are just little things that I've picked up that help me do what I like to do, whether I need to fall a tree, or for bucking one, you can jam a wedge in your cut and then that'll keep the log from pinching your saw. And that's about it. Set of good quality earmuffs for hearing protection, because I'm deaf enough as it is. I don't need to tear it up anymore. And then got my 2071 John Sword back out. I got my 90-degree grinder head in, so I was able to raise my upper transfers a few degrees. See if that helps with my power issue. I think the saw just wasn't getting enough air. I was getting the air to the transfers, but they weren't opening enough to get it into the cylinder where it needed to be. And I put my homemade pipe back on, so we'll see what happens. And since I'm cutting on public land, I do have screen on there for spark arresters. So we'll get this saw warmed up, and then I'll come back to you. I'll cut a few blocks off of that tree and we'll see how it goes. Well, back to the drawing board on this saw. She does not want to run at all. So I'm going to have to take it apart and see what's going on. I don't know if I've got an air leak, a bad bearing, or what. But she does not want to run. I don't know. I may have to scrap this top end and try a different one. But for those that don't know, a 2071 Johnsrud is basically the same as a 372 Husqvarna. So those parts are all interchangeable with this saw. So I guess I'll fire up the Echo, put a different bar and chain on it. I got a 28-inch bar and chain on it. The original bar that I had on it last time is an Echo bar, and Echo runs oddball sizes. They claim that's a 24-inch bar, but instead of a standard 84 driver chain, it's an 81. So whenever that chain is burned up, I'm going to quit using that bar for good, because those chains are real hard to find in my area. So I'll get back to you here in a bit. Alright, here we go. I got the Echo running, and we'll get a little video of cutting with it. Whoop. I'm back. Sorry about that. This Echo has turned out to be a really good saw. Like I said, I did have to take the carburetor limiters off and port it to get it to run this good at this elevation, but I'm really happy with this saw. This 28-inch bar seems to be just the right size for it. And I don't know if it's all Echoes or just this model, but these things oil like crazy. I have that oiler turned down all the way, and I bet I have enough oil to run a 36-inch bar. It's just crazy how much these things oil, which is good, especially in dry wood. But as you can see, that didn't take a terrible amount of time, and that's still a pretty good tree. I don't have my tape measure with me at the moment, but that's somewhere around probably 14 inches on the butt, which is still a really good tree for a lodgepole. So I'm gonna get this stuff down to the truck and get these last little blocks over here and start splitting. I'll come back to you later. I'm back here real quick. I got a fair little bit split up and thrown in the truck. I'll start stacking it up here in a minute, but one of my first subscribers, and I'm sorry I can't remember your name and I don't have service to look it up at the moment, but asked if you could get fatwood from lodgepole pine. Now, I'm not sure what fatwood is, but I believe you were talking about pitchwood. And the answer is yes, you can. Here's a good example right here. I can't see in the camera very good, but you can see the bright yellow color to it. And the little bit of odd coloration right along here below that bark seam. That's a nice little bit of pitchwood. And on pine, or lodgepole pine anyway, it usually occurs, that I have found, around a wound on the tree. Or in this case, a bark seam where it was a split top. But you can smell it, and it has a real strong pine smell. It's really unique. When you smell it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It smells good. And if it's really good quality, it'll just light with a match, no paper required. But I am not going to demonstrate that, because even though we've had rain, it's still pretty dry. But anyway, thought I'd let you guys know about that. And I'll get you set up here and we'll stack a little bit of wood. Give me a second here. Oh, come on in, bugger. There we go. we go. I'll set you up. I'll split a little bit here. Okay. Well, there's a little bit of splitting for you. A little stacking in the truck. As you can see, this lodgepole is pretty easy splitting wood for the most part. That stuff I had in the last video, for what it was, it split pretty good, but that was still pretty tough splitting. This tree here, this is why a lot of people like lodgepole, because it does split really easy for what it is. I mean, I know there's easier splitting wood, but this is the best we got in this country, that I have found anyway. And you probably noticed that everything that I've been cutting has been blowdowns. And I just prefer cutting that right now because, one, it cleans it up so that it reduces the heavy fuels for fire hazards. And this stuff is all up off the ground, so it's not a real high moisture content, especially in the summertime like this. It's soaked up a little bit from these little storms that we've had, but it dries out again really fast. So that's why I've been cutting blowdowns. It's not that I don't know how to fall trees or don't want to fall trees. It's just, why fall trees when I have plenty of excellent firewood right here? All I got to do is limit and bucket. After I get all this cleaned up, then I might try and like fall that tree there. That's a really nice one. Or there's another one over there. Real limmy one right there, but it's still a good tree. So anyway, I'll get back to you guys here in a bit. I'm going to try and get all this loaded up and whatnot, so I'll be back. Alright, here we are. I decided to reposition the truck and use the winch to pull a log in closer so I don't have to carry them so far. So here is the winch. Got the cables hooked up to the battery. Got the engine running. And I've got the cable strung out to over here to this tree. I have a soft strap going around it and the cable running through a snatch block all the way back over here. To that tree there. I can't see here. Alright, yeah, got the cable hooked in to my little choker here. And we're going to pull this tree on in. See how this goes. Got the parking brake set. And I've also got a block of wood in front of the tire to keep the truck from moving. Hopefully. So, here we go. Turn that in. Get out here where I can see. Oh my. Well, we're going to have to do something different. My tree ain't stout enough. Come back to you guys in a bit. Okay, back here. Got the strap rigged up differently. I got the first half pulled out. We'll get the second half pulled in here. And here we go. As you can see, I didn't have the truck quite straight enough, so it kind of bunched up all on one side, but that's how it goes. This still saves quite a bit of effort. I need to get another 1 or 2 snatch blocks so I could double line this, and it would have pulled a lot easier, but that's just how it is for now. I'll come back to you later. I'm back again. Finally loaded up. It's a good load. This load will measure out at about 2/3 of a cord if you get exact with it. But I count this as half a cord, that way I got a little bit of room for error in there. And whoever I'm selling it to knows they got exactly what they paid for. But, yeah, all split, stacked in there. Everything's loaded up and ready to go. This load took me 6.5 hours to get up here. Well, I got up here at 8 o'clock and it's almost 2:30 right now. So it took me 6.5 hours to cut all this up and split it and load it up in the truck. Which isn't terrible, but when I was younger I used to be able to do a whole lot more, a whole lot faster, but that's just life. So, I'm going to finish getting loaded up, get on out of here. I should be able to be home about 5:30, 6 o'clock. So, anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.